One of the most exciting things for us as we think about the future is to think through how we can combine all that we've done in terms of proclamation of the gospel with those that are out there planting new churches and building leaders that multiply. Because we've got the Jesus film in these 1104 languages, sometimes it's the only tool out there that's in the heart language. We've always thought of it as an evangelism tool, but the lights that went on for us in the last few months is this tool could be used far beyond just evangelism. They did a survey over the decade of the 90s and measured church growth. Dawn Ministries did it. They discovered there were 1.1 million new evangelical churches planted in that 10-year period. These are all denominations, evangelical, combined worldwide. We were thrilled. But what we didn't know was what they told us afterwards. And oh yeah, by the way, 76% of those new churches used the Jesus film in their church plant. It was the first step in a four-step process. You could think of it like a baseball diamond. Getting to first base would be having the Bible available and producing an evangelism tool like the Jesus film in the language of the people you're trying to reach. From first base to second base would be using that tool and in evangelism and beginning a small group in response in follow-up. So think of second base as establishing a follow-up group after evangelism in that new culture and language. Third base would be an establishment of an ongoing healthy church, taking a small group and seeing it turned into an organized church. Lots of different definitions of church. And then fourth base, getting all the way around to home, would be seeing that church multiply its leaders and other churches. Well, what we discovered, what we discovered along the way as we began to interact with those doing church planting was they kind of knew what to do to get to first base, and many were very effective in getting to second base. Even getting to third base was what typical church planting organizations had been a part of, establishing new churches. But what we discovered as we interacted with them that were most effective in getting all the way around to third base, the establishment of a new church, was there was a glaring need. And the need was, how would you reproduce leaders and reproduce churches to get all the way around to home base? Well, what we discovered was also, like in baseball, you don't count runs until you get all the way around to home base. People were measuring success without measuring runs. The Jesus film measured success by getting to first base. We'll just provide a tool. Others measured success by establishing churches. What we were doing is changing the measure of success to not only a new church, but a church that has leaders that multiply and churches that multiply. That became home base. So we would talk about going all the way around the bases, and the Jesus film just being a small part at the beginning, but a necessary part to help in that process. But I think the thing we're most excited about as we think about the future is the greatest need. And that's getting from third base to home base. Very few organizations and denominations know how to multiply leaders and multiply churches. They're pretty good at establishing new churches. But the churches that last and the churches that multiply are the churches that have leaders. So that's where we're so excited about working with MentorLink as we go towards the future. We see what you're doing, and we think if there's a way to combine the assets of the Jesus film, video and audio, in a way that could integrate with what's being done with MentorLink, we see that as the solution of what could be necessary getting from third base to home base. Equipping leaders in a church to know how to multiply, equipping churches to know how to multiply. That's the missing part. It's not only missing for Campus Crusade, it's honestly missing for most church planting organizations. Most are happy with just planting new churches. Owning the vision of multiplying churches and multiplying leaders is where MentorLink can really be available to help the entire body of Christ. Every denomination, every mission agency is struggling at this point.